let me start by saying that I love the new Super Mario Bros. Games, with Mario U and Luigi U being my favorites of the series by far. So when Super Mario Bros. Wonder was announced, I decided to get a day one, which is something I usually try to keep myself from doing with brand new games, and now I'm reminded as to why. Mario Wonder is easily the worst mainline 2D Mario game, or at the very least, it's equal to New Super Mario Bros. 2. The game isn't horrible, it's perfectly playable and whatnot, but I have been severely disappointed. There's not much new with the story, which is typical for a Mario game, and I'm fine with that. Mario and his buddies are visiting the neighboring Flower Kingdom when Bowser steals the powerful Wonder Flower. With the power of Wonder at his command, he can alter reality, transforming himself into a gigantic castle and harnessing his energy to prepare to take over the world. In order to stop him, Mario and his friends have to travel across the Flower Kingdom, collecting Wonder Seeds to dispel Bowser's magic and then fight him in a final confrontation. There's a surprising amount of dialogue in this game, certainly more than even Super Mario Bros. 3. It does bog down the game a little bit, but it's fine, I guess. It's not that big of a deal. The game's graphic style and animations are gorgeous. There are a ton of little details that breathe a lot of life into this game, and everything moves so fluidly. Looking back at the previous entries, a lot of animations look stiff in comparison, so this aspect is a great improvement. The audio is fine, I guess. None of the music tracks really stood out to me in this game. I think there's a bigger focus on original songs this time around, with only a few nods to past games here and there, which I can respect, but I don't know. The song that plays in the single obligatory Boo's Mansion level is great, but that was kind of the only big one for me. There are these talking flowers scattered throughout the game that give you small hints or just generally add flavor to the world, and it's a cute little addition, but they really need to just shut the hell up sometimes. They repeat their dialogue every time Mario gets close, and it gets really obnoxious.
So long. So long. So long. So long. So long.
The world map is pretty cool too. They're going for something similar to Super Mario 3D World, where you have a lot of optional levels to choose from, and you can kind of go in any order that you like. There are also some minor secrets hidden around the maps, which is pretty neat. Presentation-wise, Mario Wonder is pretty good. Aside from the talking flowers repeating themselves so much, I'd say they pretty much nailed it in this regard. It's the gameplay where I have a lot of problems. First of all, the game does control well. If you've played any of the previous new Super Mario Bros. Games, then it's mostly more of the same. You can slide down walls, you can wall jump, and that little spin you can do to help you hover in midair all make their return. Strangely, the triple jump is absent, which is a shame, but otherwise everything is in order here. I'm also glad that they brought back the vertical item throws from Super Mario World. I always found it strange that this was absent in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, so it's great to see this return. Sadly, pretty much everything else about this game sucks. The number one fundamental problem here is that the level design is just really bad. So many levels are basically flat with very few significant threats, obstacles, or hazards to impede your path. It is remarkable how boring and stale the levels are. There's basically nothing going on. When enemies are around, they're typically limited in number and are so slow. Hell, the Goombas are even asleep half the time. Like, look at this example here. Watch how much is going on. The platform is moving in unpredictable ways. I'm jumping over and under obstacles. I'm being tempted with coins in dangerous locations. There's even this little side path with bonuses. This is a good level. I mean, it's not crazy. I wish there was just a little bit more, but I can tell the foundation is there and an attempt was made. Compare that to Mario Wonder. This platform takes you on a slow, safe ride with no real threats coming at you. What, am I gonna purposely jump into the spikes? Is this a joke? This is ridiculous. It's almost impossible to lose as long as you're not an idiot. You're probably thinking, well, this is an early level, right? The game's only just getting started? No! This is World 3, approaching the halfway point of the game. And the difficulty for this stage is set to 4 out of 5. This is seriously supposed to be one of the hardest levels in the game. I wish I was making that up. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that the entire game is worthless. It does have its moments. This, in particular, is a rather challenging gap to traverse. And then it's over. The rest of the level is a fancy set piece that just about plays itself. That's pretty much the game at its best. You get like 1 or 2 good jumps, and then the rest of the level is all visuals while you're basically on rails, and that's it. Every level follows the same formula, and it's the main draw that they're going for in this game. The first half of the stage is some regular platforming until you find the Wonder Flower, and then from then on, a bunch of wacky stuff happens, which is either a goofy gimmick that changes the controls at best, or it becomes an on-rails set piece where you go through the motions until the end. That is literally every single level of the game, and it gets old fast. Like most Mario games, there's a post-credits special world with a collection of the hardest levels in the game. But don't get your hopes up. Even here, there's a lot to be desired. Most of these stages continue to be very gimmicky and on rails, as well as being some of the shortest ones in the game. There are a couple of good ones here, but most are just boring gimmicks. I'd say the best level of the game is the one near the very end, the appropriately titled Semi-Final. This one has no real gimmicks, just straight up traditional platforming with a ton of obstacles to dodge. Exactly the way it should be. Sadly, this is one of the only levels in the entire game that's like this. Super Mario Wonder is absolutely pathetic for this. It really feels like I spent $60 on a game where the level designer was always out to lunch. Now, I'm not trying to come across like I'm asking for some hardcore 2D platformer where only pro players need apply. I'm not trying to say that. Mario games usually aren't exactly known for their difficulty, but this one went way too far in the other direction. If there is no danger and no tension to the gameplay, then it's just boring. The saddest part is that the potential is there. There's glimpses of hope in this game. There's a variety of badges you can equip that grants the player new abilities and new ways to play the game, like a grapple hook or a mid-air jump. Hey, there's the triple jump, and remember the crouching charge jump from Super Mario Bros. 2? They've got a badge for that too. Here's the problem. None of the game is balanced around these badges at all, and that is abundantly clear very early on. If the game wasn't already easy enough, you're basically blowing it wide open if you use any of these badges. I stuck with the basic passive ones like extra coins and looking for secrets, and it was extremely rare that I ever had a hard time or felt pressured in the slightest. That being said, there are a few badge challenge levels that are designed specifically around these badges, and some of them are pretty good. They require some finesse and a little bit of precision, and I really wish more of the game was designed around these unique mechanics. Instead of making a collection of these badges, just make them part of the game's core moveset. or have different characters with unique abilities like in Super Mario 3D World. At the very least, the triple jump and the crouching charge jump should have been part of the game's base moveset. Like, come on, give me something to work with. If this whole game was built around the grapple hook or the extra wall jump, I think there could have been something really cool here. But that's not what we get. We get one of the most basic, beginners-friendly 2D platformer that I have ever played. No other mainline Mario game has been this easy, and most definitely not this boring. Not even the new power-ups were enough to save it. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. This elephant thing looks cursed as hell. I don't like it. I also didn't use any of the online features because I don't feel like paying for a Nintendo subscription, but I highly doubt that'll make a big difference or that I'm missing something to make this game great. I want to mention as well, on top of being so easy, the game is ludicrously short. I blasted through the whole thing over the course of 2 days, taking only 15 hours to achieve 100% completion, and I swear that I never used an online guide. The sensor badge helped out a good bit, but aside from that, I was just taking in the game casually, and I beat it with hardly a struggle. I want to emphasize that. I didn't just beat the game in 15 hours, I achieved 100% completion of every level and every secret. There really is just no content to this game. Super Mario Odyssey suffered a similar fate. Nintendo seems keen on bringing down the difficulty and technical skill required in order to appeal to a larger audience. And to be fair to them, they're succeeding. All these games are selling like crazy. It's such a shame because the controls are great and the potential is there, but without the level design to push the player towards a meaningful objective and an engaging challenge, there's just not much of a point to it. Well, for me, I'm done. I like to play the Mario games for more than just the spectacle. And the gameplay, it ain't here with this one. If you want a game for a little kid or your very younger sibling to play, then yeah, Mario Wonder is actually great for that. But if you want a game that can offer at least a little bit more, then no, don't bother. Thanks for watching my review on Super Mario Bros. Wonder. You have no idea how much I was looking forward to this game. I am just so disappointed.